Hey, good morning. Happy Memorial Day. Just wanted to make a quick video about my recent pickup. This is an Old Country Barbecue Pits insulated gravity smoker from Academy. I've been eyeballing this model for the last few months. There's another YouTuber, Mad Scientist Barbecue, that I've been working with Old Country on one of their original prototypes. And ever since that original prototype, I've been very interested in this particular smoker. I've owned two other Old Country smokers in the past, the Picos as well as the vertical smokehouse. So this is my third one. Sold the other two over time, trying to make room, consolidate, slowly graduating up. And this is my newest one. Absolutely fell in love with what Trendkill Barbecue had to say about his, so I picked up one myself. Found this guy in Mobile, Alabama. Drove down 5 hours each direction to pick this up. Just want to do a quick walkthrough and do an initial burn-in. So on the inside, some of the other videos they haven't really touched on what's actually underneath. So we're familiar with the three racks, but up underneath here, here's a heat shield. And unlike some of the other gravity smokers, it doesn't have a chute going underneath to the center. So I was kind of curious about that. I was able to confirm through owning it myself now. Good information to have. The sidewall right here. The smoke chamber actually comes in through here, comes down and out, and then dissipates back up towards the top. So this box right here, it's a pretty thin metal, so I'm kind of curious. One of the things I'll be testing during the burn-in process is how hot it is on the right side of the smoker as compared to the left side of the smoker. But for the most part, all the other walkthroughs, this is fairly basic. Some other information. These latches are beefy as anything. And I was actually pretty surprised how narrow the charcoal chute is. But it looks like it will hold approximately 12 pounds of charcoal. I definitely need to make an ash box like Trendkill did. He made one that fit perfectly inside the firebox area, and I think I'll be doing the same thing, or trying to find one myself. I think that the ability to grab and dispose of the ash is going to be very, very beneficial instead of having to scoop it out, make a little bit of a mess. One of the other things I wanted to highlight was the casters on here. These are absolutely awful. They're itty bitty. They are kind of a pain in the butt to maneuver on absolutely anything. So I replaced those using the Amazon link that Trendkill Barbecue has on his caster upgrade video. You check that out. And I also absolutely love the ability to add a ball valve under here for a grease drain. I'll absolutely be picking up a ball valve to do that. Some of the other smokers I've used in the past, a little difficult to clean because they didn't have the ability to drain out the grease from the bottom. It's kind of a push system like the smokehouse was. You need to remove the water pan, sort of spray it down, and then sort of push it through the hole, that drain hole in the back. It was a little bit of a mess. Had to be in an area to dispose of it properly. Your grass or something like that, depending upon where you are or trying to capture it. But yeah, I'm gonna get this lit and do an initial burn-in. I have seasoned it or coated it with canola oil all over the inside. It's a sturdy beast, weighing 330 pounds, and the quality is there. Excellent for the price point so far. All right, got her ready to go. Just want to say that first of all, we got a 20-pound bag of charcoal on the chute. There's approximately 12 inches from the top. So this holds much more than the 12 pounds that I expected. This is the Kingsford briquette, the blue stuff. I use it pretty exclusively. I usually find out pretty good sales, and that was a primary factor in why I like to use it. It's just very consistent. I've used lump in the past. It works very well, very efficient, very clean. good taste. I just use it because it's cheap. So as far as lighting this thing, there's another YouTube channel called World of Barbecue, and he actually uses this method to light the coals. There's two primary methods to lighting a gravity smoker. The first one is to light the coals and then throw them in from the top after they're nice and white. Put your charcoal on top. So that kind of requires you to empty out the charcoal or light it a second method, and this is the method that I'll be using to light this gravity smoker. I picked this up from World of Barbecue. Basically, he takes one of his wood chunks or mini logs, stands it upright, and he puts his fire starter on top. As you can see, fairly centered, it'll light everything underneath it. So pretty simple, pretty easy. I think we're good to go. So one of the other things in my research into the world of gravity smokers is using some type of pan or aluminum cover on top of this charcoal chute. So the heat rises and will actually scorch and burn the gasket on top. So I had a pie pan. I'll be using that to cover it, protect it, but that's all she wrote. Super easy. 20 plus pounds of charcoal in the chute and easy lighting. Let's see what we got in a few minutes. While we got the charcoal going, just wanted to talk about what I'll be using to test the temperatures today. So I'm absolutely in love with ThermoWorks products. I've used a lot of different wireless thermometers over the years. All of them pretty much broke or failed within the first few years. So after spending so much money, I decided I wanted something that not only is reliable, but I wanted something quality and I could use as a reference for my other thermometers. So after a lot of research, I landed on a ThermoWorks product. I purchased the smoke right when it became available, and I've had this thing ever since. I have zero complaints about this. Fantastic probes, fantastic response, fantastic range. This wireless remote, this thing is absolutely fantastic. As you can see, I'm out here in my driveway. I can be in my living room. There are, I would say, at least 5 walls between where I'm sitting and where this will be, and I get reception perfectly in my living room. It is a beautiful thing. So today we're using 2 different locations on the bottom rack. I just want to see what the gradient from right to left is. I'll be doing a biscuit test before the next smoke. I'm thinking about doing probably some spare ribs or a brisket. I have a large 22-pound brisket that I'm looking for. But as you can see, the probes are approximately I don't know, 3 inches from the wall on the right, and about 3 inches from the left. So I just want to see what the gradient is across the bottom rack, and I figure we can apply somewhat of a similar gradient on the second rack, and I believe that it would be fairly consistent from right to left on the top. So in the biscuit video I'll also be posting, I will be doing temperatures from the top and middle of the rack as well. We'll look at potential hot spots. All right, burn-in complete. Few notes. I had moved the probes around from the bottom grade up to the middle and up to the top. Basically, I aimed for about 275 on the bottom grade to start it off. Held it there for about an hour. What I noticed was that on the far left, I got it dialed into about 273 pretty well, and at the far right, over by the fire chamber, it was about 293. After I moved it up to the second grate, keeping the ball valve the same exact setting, settled in at 270 to the far left, and then to the far right was about 287. So it dropped from about a 20 degree gradient from left to right down to about a 17 degree gradient. When I moved them up to the top grade, I actually nudged the ball valve by accident. So sitting about 3 inches from left to right. We're looking at about another 12, or I'm sorry, 18-degree gradient across the top. So from left to right, it's pretty stable. That's actually really good news. It's not too wild. I would prefer if it was single digits, but maybe I'll play around with a few things and see what I can come up with. But shutting it down is pretty easy. Just close it out, nice tight fit up there, and then ball valve closed. So some closing thoughts on it. It takes forever to get up to temperature. It actually took about 1.5 hours to go from 74 degrees earlier today when I first lit this up to about that 225 mark. So what I'm considering is using my barbecue guru that I use on my Weber Smoky Mountain. I know barbecue guru has a ball valve adapter. So I have the party cue. I think that's what I'm going to do, is just adapt it to this. Not so much for a temperature control. I mean, this thing is rock solid, but as far as getting it up to temperature quicker. Maybe I could also use 2 fire starters to start with. Maybe I can also use a taller piece of wood, something to get it closer to it, so the fire fans out a little bit more instead of being point focused like it was earlier this morning. Now I have some thoughts, but overall, nice burn in, and I cannot wait to cook with it. As soon as this thing cools down, go ahead and clean it up and prepare for the next mount. Thanks for watching.